Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I am your host, Afridamus, and I am live right now. I want to welcome all of you to the Afridamus Report today. The viewers, make sure you like and share this video. If you are not subscribed, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, today, what are we talking about here? I know some of you are probably wondering, man, what has happened again? Well, Blaxit have done it again. This time around, she goes to an online Gambian show called For the People, by the People. This is a political Gambian show. And I want to thank the Gambian that sent me, this video. Because you see, the work that I'm doing here, some of you probably, you don't recognize it, but I'm glad a lot of other Gambians who are sending me these ridiculous, outrageous things online for me to talk about them. I want to thank you guys. Keep up the good work. If you see something that needs to be talked about, please, by all means, send it my way. Because people are really good at, trying to hide behind ideologies, religions, philosophies, you name it, just to try to take advantage of situations. And some people, they take this way, way far. That brings us to who? Blaxit. Juliet and the Blaxit. You see, when Juliet came in the scene of YouTube, she was talking about, she ran away from the United Kingdom because of quote unquote racism, discrimination. She returned to the mama land, which is Gambia. But she was also talking about eventually, bringing in more people from the West to relocate to the Gambia. And she entered the land business. We've talked about all that. Believe it or not, at one point, I was sold on her idea. Just the simple idea that she wants to, look at this woman who wants to repatriate, quote unquote, to Africa and bring people that are also interested in going with her. And she talked a lot. She talked lots and lots of good game. And this game was sold to a whole lot of you. Because you see, one thing I've noticed, especially, in America, when it comes to Black people, because most Black people are from church background. The Caribbeans also, they're from that church background. So with the history of slavery and, stuff that followed through, it's easy to come up with these organizations because that's what they are used to. So now, this is not an actual church, but she is selling what they call Pan-Africanism, an ideology from Marcus Garvey, um, the Back to Africa movement. We've seen many few prophets who are starting to sell this idea, but she mastered it. She knows what words to use, white supremacy. I'm a Pan Africanist. And with her focus is Gambia. She got a land there. She sold land to other people, as you guys know. She even have met politicians, met the president of that country. When I played the audio here, you guys could hear when the story that she tells you, the Black American or the Black British, from the church background, it's not going to be the same story when she comes in contact with actual smart Gambians, because Gambians are not into all that. Most Gambians they think on their own individually. We're not into that group thinking thing. People tend to stick with people from their actual culture. Everybody can mingle, but whatever your ideas are, they don't respect you to try to force your ideas on them. There are some you can brainwash. There are some you can, I don't know, shame into accepting what you're saying. But now the Blaxit have been talking about automatic citizenship in the Gambia. She's not asking it, she is demanding automatic citizenship from the Gambia. This is a topic that myself I haven't touched on much. There were few Gambians online who talked about it, but I've never seen a video of her where she allowed herself to come face to face with Gambians who know the law, who know the constitution, and are willing to push back. As you guys know, every country in this world, I would think, they have their own constitution that they go by. If you're from the UK or from the United States, just because the constitution here, the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, allows anyone who was born on this soil would be considered an American citizen. You can naturalize in America and become an American citizen and have all the privileges. But in Gambia is completely different. By the way, this constitution that would come into play, this constitution was enacted, mind you, they changed it in 1997. They didn't just change it, they put it up for a referendum, and the Gambian people voted for it. They went around the country to sensitize the people. They talked about it on the radio, TV, you name it. They went to communities, and the people, the Gambian citizens, voted to enact this constitution. There's a reason why I'm saying this, because eventually the video I'm about to play is going to dispel a whole lot of things. And this Pan-Africanist talk, I've been saying this over and over. They are narcissistic, rude, and very insulting. Because you see, when you're trying to sell an ideology that is based entirely on your ego and lies, where you just try to, because like I said, most Black people in the West, they are looking for a leader to follow. So if they put somebody ahead, they put someone ahead, who's speaking all this Pan-Africanist thing, speaking things against white people, guess what? You're their leader. They outsource their thinking to you, so you do all the thinking. So this is why this woman have been spending her time lying, conniving, and being aggressive. You guys are going to see this because you see, when you have a radical ideology, when you come face to face with people that are not buying it, you don't have any escape route. You become aggressive, you become angry. And that's what happened to this woman. I don't want to spill all the beans before you watch the video. You guys are going to watch this video with me, and I would give my commentary as it goes. This video is from a YouTube page, a Gambian political YouTube page called For the People, by the People. It's all about Gambian political talk. So you know these people that are hosting that show, which is about Gambian politics, these people are all about that constitution. They know all the laws in and out. So when I say 1997, that's when this constitution was voted on in a referendum. What does that tell you? That tells you that that constitution wasn't put in place by the former British colonialists. Gambia became independent back in 1965. So the people didn't get to vote for the constitution prior, because obviously the country was under colonial rule. But by 1997, the country was completely free of colonial rule. So this is solely passed by the Gambian population. See, if you are born in the Gambia, it's not like the United States. There are tons of Nigerians, Sierra Leoneans in the Gambia, and other nationalities. If you are born there, even if you're born there and your parents are not Gambians, you are not considered a Gambian. Your nationality matches that of your parents. So it is not about skin color. It is not about blackness. It is not about Pan-Africanism. That stuff only sells to you, but not to the people out there. And when that is brought to her attention, she completely loses it. So I don't want to keep you waiting. I will play our Pan-Africanist church music, and then the video would come, and you guys are going to see the side of Juliet Blaxit that you guys aren't aware of. And for this video here, Juliet, you're going to waste your time. This is not like the other video that you reported me to YouTube. Yes, people, she reported me to YouTube and said that I was playing her private phone call. So YouTube told me to take the video down because they don't want to strike my channel. So this is why you guys are not seeing that video up, but I'm going to edit it in a way that YouTube told me to do, and I will put it back up. But this one here, she has no power over it because it wasn't even done on her channel. You see, when you think you're high and mighty, you think you're a queen with a beta husband, you guys are going to see his behavior too. It's going to blow your mind. I hope you're sitting straight. It's going to blow your mind, and it's going to blow your socks off. Because even myself, I have to say, I can't even believe it. I'm like, what is going on? This woman is the devil. Look, I don't want to give you all the spill. Let me bring in the church choir, and then the video. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready for this mess. I mean, this mess. Just stick with me. You guys know how she would usually start out all nice and but hey, if you have the devil's spirit in you, if you're operating in lies, things quickly fall apart. And in this segment here, she brought along her sidekick, which is that Gambian politician Marong. You guys remember in the other video, the video I did about that Kunta Kinte, the politician she had there. Oh yeah, she made sure he was there because she thought they are going to be running interference. And also, this woman, these people are so funny people. You don't even understand how manipulative they are. This woman have been manipulating you. She wanted to put her pieces in place in the Gambia there to run roughshod, to be manipulative. She has that little boy, Usman Ture, and made that boy believe he's a Pan-Africanist. You guys are going to see his part here too. And I'm going to break it down. Because the panel, I'm going to tell you their body language too. Because since I am an expert in Gambian, I'm going to tell you all what you're seeing. I don't want to keep you waiting. We're going to go straight into this here. Kick back.
Conversation. You've made it very clear, right? When you've tried to separate us from being Gambian, from being African. So the first part, automatic, relates to our identity. So we need to be identified automatically as Africans.
You guys hear this part, right? So here, this man is called Coach Pa Samba Jaw, a staunch Gambian political, enthusiast. Musa Jeng, another one. He lives in the United States. And the host here, his name is Banka, used to live in the United States. And of course, Blaxit's side piece is right here. He is right here. So you guys already heard, right? Because I cut this and bring it to the front. So because this was the part where she was trying to get heated. I even learned things from her that I didn't even know about before. But you guys are going to see as well.
Not others and not as anything else. So automatically that must be there because you cannot have citizenship without identity. That is crucial. The next part is the citizenship. And what we ask for is a program of integration, assimilation, and initiation. Very important for us coming home. And we asked for that program to be over 2 years, after which we'll go through the normal procedures for immigration and ask for full citizenship.
You guys are seeing this, right? What other country can you go to and talk to them this way? Literally telling them, laying the conditions, how and how they should do their citizenship, how the laws should be. Mind you, this is not the constitution of the Gambia. There's a constitution there already that the people voted on. So she is coming there, literally telling the Gambians that, no, you got it all wrong. You got it wrong. We are going to tell you how it's done. But you guys are going to hear more. This aggression is not even anything yet. You guys are going to see how aggressive she becomes.
That is what we are proposing. That is what we are asking for, because 15 years is too long. The rest of what you're saying is a misnomer. And we are doing that by two things. Firstly is consultation. Yeah? Honorable Saho Marong, Suleiman Saho started a pressure group. And we went to the National Assembly, and we had a meeting initially with 11 National Assembly members, cross-party, and we were putting together our plans of how we can look at it. We also talked about National Assembly members being ambassadors moving forward, for those coming back, because, like I said, it has to be an integrated program where we work together, Gambian residents and Gambian citizens. Don't call me anything else but a Gambian resident. You act as though nothing here has its impact on us. We live here. We experience everything here as everybody else does. We're impacted by everything that happens here. We don't have a vote, we don't have a say, but we're impacted on it regardless. And so whether it's constitutional, not constitutional, whether it's personal, impersonal, it's not political for us.
You guys heard what she said there. So you chose to move to a country that already have their constitution. Now you're telling them you don't care if it's about constitution or not constitution. You are not being political. No, ma'am. If you are trying to change one's law, if you're trying to change somebody's law, that is political. That is a takeover. That is a crime. Do you understand that? That is literally a crime. See, when they talk about coups, coup d'etats, when the military takes over, what do? That means they are toppling the constitution of that country, changing it without the will of the people. That's what she is doing exactly. But watch, she would eventually be reminded of who she is. And you guys think she's hot here? I just brought this to the front, and then she will go to the nice part, because I don't want to confuse people. I don't want to put you through the deep emotions. But you're going to see.
This is the Pan-Africanist agenda. Whether someone is truly Pan-Africanist or not Pan-Africanist, I look by the actions. Your two previous presidents both gave us automatic citizenship. Both of them. Yeah? The late President Dawda Jawara gave us automatic citizenship. It was the first African government to do it, both in Abuja in Nigeria and also here in Banjul in 1994. Followed then by the last previous president, who also gave it to us at the Roots Homecoming Festival. So therefore it was already a given. What we're asking for is for it not to be just done on a preferential basis, but to be done on a presidential and on a basis of the lawmakers making it law. So it doesn't change from one leader to another. It's something that is entrenched, just like the citizenship rules is entrenched. And we are relying on the lawmakers to make this happen. We don't want any more tribalism. We don't want any more disunity. We don't want any more dysfunctionalism within us as a family, because we are a family. I might be Fulani, he might be Mandinka, but we're still family. We're still a couple. I could be Jolla, he could be Wolof. What does it matter other than that we come together for the betterment of Africa? And
so you guys are seeing this, right? This woman, you literally walked into someone's house and you're trying to tell them what they should be doing, how they should think, how they should see other people, you know, talking about tribalism. Mind you, this is why I say when you go to African countries especially, be mindful of this tribal thing and the politics. Be very mindful. So already, the conversation didn't even go deeper. She is already offended those two policies. But I'll let you hear more.
particularly here for the betterment of the Gambia, we need a lot of things here that we can bring. A lot of us from the diaspora can bring, and we can actually invest our money here. But our investment needs to be secure, and citizenship offers security. That's what everybody is not missing. You can sit there and everybody can sit there, but you're not sitting in our fragility. You're not sitting in our insecurity. You're not sitting in our fear. We're the ones that experience it. So it's not about questions, it's about solutions. And that's what we need, is those solutions moving forward. So what we need is for that, have that draft put in properly and to have it considered.
Reason why I put this part forward, I want you guys to hear this. This woman is not a citizen of that country. She went there on her own free will. The country already have their constitution voted in by the people. So she's trying to topple the constitution of that country. She's a foreigner in a country talking about, she is drafting their idea of what should be added to that constitution to bastardize the constitution. You see, the Gambians that she's talking to here, these are very smart Gambian brothers. This is the thing. Gambians, they will let you talk. And you wouldn't even, you don't know if they are with it or not, but they will just let you talk. They will just let you keep running your mouth thinking that, you know, these people are with me, or I'm shaming them, beating them down. But they are thinking the same thing I'm looking at and thinking like, ma'am, do you understand that? Do you understand what you're saying here? This is a crime. Do you know this? This is a crime. The moment you try to change one's constitution and you're not there, from that point on, you've become an enemy combatant. Point blank. At this point, she's declared herself as an enemy combatant without even knowing. If she's arrested for this, she would be tried in a military tribunal. I don't think she even knows this. Because when you do a coup in a country with a gun, that's what they do. The military, that's what they would do. The constitution is what is suspended. They change it. You cannot change a country's constitution just by yourself. You guys remember, I did a show here about Guinea-Conakry, the president that was arrested and removed. Do you know what motivated it? he single-handedly changed the constitution to fit him. Look at what happened to him. And this guy was the president. In Mali, the same thing. The president that was there changed the constitution to fit his needs. They came after him too, toppled him, arrested him. In Chad, the same thing. So in Africa, a lot of these commotions and chaos you hear, wars even, is from one man trying to change the constitution to fit them. Simple.
Properly, and to have it voted on properly, because at the end of the day, you cannot take my Africanness away from me. No one can take my Africanness away from me, whether it was pretty words or not. Yeah, I acknowledge it and I accept it and I own it. And that is what the president of this country said. And I don't look at him as a political party leader. I just look at him as a president. So the way I see it is this: it's got to be about our unity first as Africans.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And we are glad to have you here. Hopefully, we'll have you another time again when these issues come up again. Thank you so, so much, Nyancho and your husband and Osman Toure. And Maron, so Maron, when are we going to have you back to come and discuss the Constitution? How you guys made a mockery of their Constitution. When are we going to, which day, which weekend are you available to come back here? Tell us so we know we can put it on the schedule right now. Your line is mute. Your line is mute.
So I went backwards because I wanted you guys to see what is happening from backwards, and we'll go in the beginning. This Marong, that's the politician on her side. This is towards the end where she got really, really hot because she didn't like what she heard. Now you guys get to hear what made her so hot. This Marong here, this Marong is a joke. This politician here is playing Juliet. For whatever reason, he got himself associated with her and playing her. She's talking about no one can take her Africanness from you. Nobody. Hey, if you want tattoo African on your chest, no one cares. Seriously, no one cares. But this Marong guy here, this member of parliament, I've said it in my previous video and I'm going to repeat it again. He is straight up shady, and you guys are going to see when they call him out on his BS. You guys are going to see when they will be questioning Juliet. He would try to run interference. They would try to run interference for each other. That's all coming.
I say what you will do is that you're gonna give me a call from now towards on Wednesday. Let me see what will happen on air because I'll be traveling to the provinces.
My great-grandmother was enslaved, so she worked on a plant. So the only place for us.
I'm open to any discussion that you want.
My great-grandmother was enslaved.
So this is to the beginning now. She's gonna let us know how she got her Gambian connection.
So she worked on a plantation, and so the connection to slavery is not a distant one. It is a very painful and a very close relation to us. So that's the reason why for us Africa is our destination, our only destination. And further to that, I came to Africa for the first time when I was 22 years old. And at that time, I vowed that I would live here because it is the only place for the Black woman or the Black man to live in any kind of freedom, any kind of peace, any kind of harmony, and to feel a part of a community where they will feel loved and included. And so that is the reason why the naturalization process is just a process. It doesn't stop me from being here and living here and sharing and enjoying my community and being with my people. And so that's just a part of the process. And, you know, I've got to say that my life has changed for the better since living here permanently. So I let my husband speak for himself.
Yeah, greetings. For me, I was born in the Caribbean island of Montserrat. And while living there, well, you see, it's a similar culture to the Caribbean, you know. But while living in the Caribbean, I always feel that there was something missing, especially when you read the history and, I mean, the transatlantic slave trade wasn't easy for us. So when you read the history and you actually realize that your ancestors was taken away from the motherland, it makes you start to connect yourself back to the motherland. And after listening to reggae music, Bob Marley, Sizzler, Capital, Peter Tosh.
He's naming, you know, musicians because that's who Gambian, like most Gambians listen to. So that's where he got his history from. He didn't know before, right? Until he listened to those songs. Let's keep going.
You know that there is a missing link. And even I myself was a Rastafarian for about 12 years. You know, and I always feel the need that I must come back to the motherland. I must touch base back to the motherland. You know, I must bring back the spirits of our ancestors back to the motherland. So when we came to Gambia in 2011 for the first time, you know, I felt at home. When I feel the spirit of the people, how welcoming the people were, how warm the people were, you know, I said, no, I feel like I'm home now. I think I find a place.
Oh, the people are so welcoming. I'm home. Now I'm ready to change their constitution and be an African dictator. Let's keep going.
I could move to, because I know England wasn't our home. You know, I know England wasn't our home. Yeah, and it didn't feel like home either. So, but how I got to England is because Montserrat itself is still a colony of England. So, unfortunately, in 1997.
You guys see these Gambians here. They are completely bored and calling BS on it. They're like, okay, dude, what's this got to do with our constitution? But hey, they are going to be respectful. This is Gambian people for you. Don't mistake it for anything else. This respect, they respect everybody. So it's until you get out, you know, out of line. But yeah, he's gonna keep going.
We had a volcano that started, and it's still ongoing up until today. So because of that, and because we're still a colony, most of us has been evacuated to different parts. Like some went back different parts of the Caribbean, and some moved to England where we get automatic citizenship.
And Juliet also said she used to be married to a Gambian. I guess that's where she discovered her DNA, but we'll find out. She says she found out she got plenty of Gambian DNA. So this is wild, people. This is wild.
Yeah, because we're under the British dependent territory. So yeah, so my journey, I lived there for 22 years in England, and I never feel at home. No time in that 22 years have I ever felt like I was home. Never. So now I reach home to Africa. You know, as I keep saying, we are tired. We now get home, we just want to rest. You know, and I find ourselves still here.
You want to rest?
No, when I say we come home to rest. You understand? After journey from the Caribbean,
I hear you,
to England, and now here in Africa, we want to find a place to rest, so we don't have to fight anymore. As Honorable Halifa Salah said, We'll be fighting for self-determination in the Caribbean. You come.
So he just invoked another Gambian politician's name who probably thinks he's a Pan-Africanist. See, this is what these Pan-Africanists do. They like to throw names. They really honestly think the way they see those people or feel about those people, that's how the rest of us do. So you see the looks on the Gambians, they are laughing at them because it's like, for instance, you come over, to my town and you're trying to tell me that somebody else that I know like the back of my hand, you want to describe them to me to be something that they are not. But this is going to get better. Here comes their little Pan-Africanist boy. And you guys are going to, you're going to have fun with this.
To England, you fight again. And now you come to Africa. You come home now. Home should have been the last place. It's like when you go back to your mother's house. You're not going back there to have problems. You're going back there to sit down and have mommy dinner. Yeah. And your mother and father always welcome you home. So that's what I'm saying. So now we're home. We just want to rest,
So, yeah. So you and I totally agree with you. Being from the West and having been born there and raised there, doesn't necessarily mean that that's your home per se.
Dude, if it's not their home, where is their home? If you're born and raised somewhere and you have the citizenship, like, what do you mean that's not your home?
Where your roots are, that's really your home, and you are entitled to where you are born to. That's your home technically, because you are born there. You should have a right to all the rights that.
People, I'm gonna reveal this. I did my DNA test, and this is why I returned to America. I found out I am 40% Blackfoot Indian. 40% Blackfoot Indian. So I'm back home, people. I'll make sure I post that DNA test one of these days, and I know there's going to be a lot of you critics out there trying to, challenge what I'm saying, but I could care less. 40% Blackfoot Indian. I've seen it with my own eyes. And right now, I met some of my tribal members. This year, I'm going to be going to a powwow that I was invited to meet some of my Blackfoot cousins. I'll be sure to post that too, so you guys can, take a look at it. I just wanted to stop that and throw that in and let you guys know that I discovered 40% Blackfoot Indian.
A citizen should have in those countries. But I think where your roots are, and in your case, Africa, you should equally have a right to be able to come and lay your claim and say, look, this is my home, this is my land, and I'm back to settle on my property because it belongs to you too. You didn't choose to even leave. You were literally dragged kicking and screaming.
Dude, none of these people went through slavery. He wasn't dragged kicking and screaming. Those Africans did, but not them. So, but I'll just let the guy butter them up a little bit.
Out of here. It's not like you were like, hey, let's go. You fought against that. You fought hard. So many slaves died fighting for their freedom. This is forced evacuation. It wasn't voluntary at all. So I think even that part of the history alone should compel African countries to open their doors and say, come on in, come on back in. This is yours, as much as it is ours who claim to be born here and raised here. But now, coming to the politics, because the politics of it is also very critical, very important, as you know, and all things can easily become political. You guys went to see the president. I guess, Nyancho, you were the one I saw. I don't know whether I saw your husband in the picture, but I saw your, did you both go there? Yeah, he was there. Okay. So, but anyway, you went to the president, and I'm sure my gut is telling me that you all went there to advocate, to really push for this naturalization thing, to you know, and lo and behold,
people, you know, she said she's Gambian, right? If she were Gambian, this little spill this guy is doing and setting up to the conversation, if she were truly a Gambian, she would know exactly what he is doing, what he is setting up. She would have known this. But let's continue.
you came out, you were like, you know, look, the president seems like a nice guy. That's a regular statement that anybody will make. I'm sure even after this interview, somebody asked me, hey, what do you think about Nyancho and her husband? I'll be like, oh, they are very nice guys. I like them. I mean, but apparently yours, this is a crime for saying that because it's political season. How did that make you feel to come home demanding that they give you natural citizenship and you haven't gotten that yet? And even to say something about a political leader is becoming a crime for you because apparently you not being quote unquote a Gambian is why they are claiming you shouldn't say anything. How does that make you feel, both of you?
I feel personally, I must admit, I've challenged quite a few people online. People have said, Juliet, you should remain silent, but no, I will not be silenced because we've been silenced for far too long. And, you know, I likened it to like an African apartheid. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. This is the same discrimination. And unfortunately, the same issues that we've had historically that have created problems among us as Africans. And
Ma'am, they are just telling you to butt out of their politics. You are not a Gambian citizen. That's all they are asking. But you guys notice they always try to convolute things and make it into this African thing. There's tons of Nigerians, Sierra Leoneans, Senegalese, and other nationalities who live in the Gambia. They do not butt into the Gambian politics. They do not speak on the Gambian politics. Same in different African countries. That's the fastest way to get yourself caught up, jammed up in things that you don't understand. So she wants to talk about this African thing. There are other people there from other African countries, even close, like Senegal. They see a non-Senegalese butting in Gambian politics is going to be a problem. So the African argument, save that for the people that watch you on your show. The people sitting in their living rooms, like the Wakandan Queen and others, who are deluding themselves into believing that they are actually Gambians. Yes, those people, you can tell that too. But just watch this guy's face as she talks. There's a reason why this guy asked her this question. But she's so dumb and arrogant, she bit it. She bit it like an apple. This is a political show, a Gambian political show. If she knew any better, she would have known there's a reason for this question. Because they want to understand your mindset. But I guess she can't help it. She has to be herself.
my disappointment at some of the comments I vocalized, because ultimately I have an opinion and I have the right to voice it. I should not be maimed or muted or muzzled like a dog. I am not a dog. I'm a human being. and I have the right to voice my opinion. And we're not apolitical, so it doesn't make any difference to us what people think. We cannot even vote. So it's
That's why you shouldn't be talking about the politics. She keeps saying she's not political, but when you talk about changing a segment of the Constitution, that is political, ma'am. That is political. You go in there meeting the president, hooking up with this weasel over here. That is all political. She knows exactly what she's doing, but now she wants to play dumb. Just because you cannot vote doesn't mean you cannot meddle in one's politics. So save that, like I said, save that for the people that you've brainwashed to a point where they can no longer think for themselves. They leave the thinking to you. This is a side of her that you guys don't get to see, because this is not on her channel where she's all bubbly, where she turns off the comments. No, over here she gets to be questioned. And look at Adrian back there. look at him. He knows where this is going. He knows.
Consequential. And I didn't say what I said because of any reasoning behind it. I said it because it was exactly my opinion at the time. I didn't say it. There was nothing else behind it except for my heart-spoken truth. And if it's a problem to speak the truth here, then we have a problem. And I think that we need to look into ourselves and look at our own selves and do some soul searching.
Maybe she's talking about her and Adrian. I don't know when she said we, our, I don't know who she is referring to, but the people literally blasted you. That's why they're asking you. They are blasting you, telling you you are not a Gambian, but out of their politics. But you keep insisting, saying, we have to look at ourselves. Maybe you're talking about you two. Those people already told you you're not Gambian. But this woman is delusional.
As to how do we really feel about each other? Because it's self-hatred. Either way you look at it, it's self-hatred. And we need to really look at why we're making such terrible accusations. And they're saying that we're not this and we're not that, but we are Africans. And no one can tell me I'm not a Gambian. I have Gambian DNA. And in fact, there's an exclusive on your show. I'll let everybody know my first husband was Gambian.
Did you guys hear that? Yeah, she says she has lots of Gambian DNA. Yes, we know. And followed up by her first husband was Gambian. Now everything makes sense. Yeah, we know you have plenty of Gambian DNA in you from that. Gambian DNA. Now this makes sense. Oh no, she's no longer Jamaican. She was married to a Gambian and her DNA was altered, if you know what I mean.
So when people are talking, they need to be very mindful of what they say, because they do not know your background and they do not know enough about you to be so judgmental. My husband, please say your piece.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Kidabi?
I don't think that Gambian DNA part sat well with him. He's like, really? Did you have to talk about receiving a Gambian DNA from earlier? Come on now. You didn't have to disclose that information here. It's my first time even hearing about this one. Amazing.
Yes. I mean, coming from the Caribbean, I might have a slightly different mindset. But what I was saying, first of all, for them to claim that we are not Gambians, I would now like to ask all of them that make it that claim to give me the list of families that was taken away on the slave ship. Just give me a list of families that was taken from Gambia
if we can find the list. So he's asking about the list of the families that were taken from the Gambia. You know, I know who has that list. Yes, the white man. You can totally go check them. So I don't know where you got your DNA from, but we know where Juliet got hers from. But keep going.
Produce that list of names. I've been searching, and I know they don't have that records. So it's a time that people stop with ignorance. Ignorance is not going to heal our pain. So for people to speak in and say who are not Gambians, right? They don't have a clue. Because they say have no records of the Gambians that leave these shores and went to the wider world to be enslaved and serve.
Dude, if there's no record of them, that means they are not Gambian. They no longer exist. Do you get that? If they don't have a record, that means they no longer exist. He's a terrible, he is not good at, formulating argument. See, if this guy sits in front of me and we're having this conversation and he mentions this is what my answer would be. I'll be like, dude, the record is not here because those people no longer exist. They are not Gambian citizens. The country was not even incorporated as what it is today. So I don't know what you're talking about. Like, people change settlements so many times. What makes you think the people that live there even were related to quote unquote the slaves? What makes you think that? It wasn't every African that was enslaved. So this idea that every African was enslaved is baloney. Like, don't forget that. It was actual African traders. There were people who were in the slave trade themselves. It was those people who were in the business of selling people. They were selling human beings. It wasn't like this bullshit story that people want to say, oh, the white people came and took kidnapped us. No. Go read for yourself and find out. White people could not make it into the interior of Africa. They literally would die. Literally. The malaria, the sickness, and all that, they only come to the shores. And ask yourself, who is selling these people? And by the way, the place that they call Gambia today, that territory, they didn't really take a lot of humans from there, selling them into slavery. It was a transit point. They were bringing these people from way in the interior, from places like Mali, Burkina Faso, deep, countries that are landlocked. So they have to capture these people and bring them to where you call Gambia today. That's not even, it was in James Island. It was in the entire Gambia. It was an area called James Island where they used to ship humans away. So this idea, I've heard people say, oh, they devastated people, blah, blah, blah. Think about it for a minute. Do you know how long it takes for them to even transport people away? Sometimes they'll bring these people, the slaves, they will keep them in the forts, for months to wait for the ship to come. Why would they even capture people who live in those towns? They're not going to do that because those people already know their own town. Those chiefs were the chiefs, they were paying taxes to those chiefs for that slavery to happen. So they were not selling their own citizens in their kingdom. Unless they've conquered other kingdoms, then they would sell those kingdoms' people into slavery. But they were not selling their own people. So this idea of saying, oh, they were selling these people. No. And I'm not saying there weren't people today, the place they call Gambia. I'm not saying they didn't sell the citizens. Of course they did, because you would see there's tribes that are, that are from that region. But it wasn't organized like the way he's trying to make it sound like. Why would those people keep record of the people they are selling? The Europeans kept records. You can go talk to the Europeans. They'll show you. They will show you the records.
Another nation of people for over 400 years. So what this is showing me, that we are people that have been disconnected to the atrocities that happened to our grandparents. It's our grandparents. You understand? We're no different to them. Right? So if people could be so disconnected from their ancestors, we have a problem. And we have a serious, serious, serious problem. And that's why I keep saying, what we're pushing for have to be dealt with at the top.
Any man that uses shaming tactics is a complete baiter. 100% baiter. Any man that uses shaming tactics to try to achieve what they are looking for is a complete baiter. This man is pathetic for this. Seriously. He's not even making sense.
The lawmakers of the country on a governmental level. And it's about how the government itself have to try and desensitize the people. And there's no point putting it out to the population when I come to Africa, I hardly see anything to speak about the transatlantic slave trade. I don't even know if they have it in the schools. So it's time that the people get desensitized.
So now they have to teach people about slavery in the schools. Okay, carry on. So do these people understand how people in that country view slavery? Do you understand what type of problems you're walking into? You look at a Gambian and try to tell them that they're a slave. Do you understand that's an insult? You tell them their great-grandparents were slave. I don't think these people even understand what type of insults they are using. Like, that's a crime, literally. If you want to get your head beaten, tell someone there that they are a slave or they are from slaves. You will find out.
Before they start even commenting and start making all these critics and start making all this judgmental and start being so judgmental. That is something you need to understand, because no other race in history, yeah, forget what happened to them.
No.
Because as you see, the Jews, they're still getting reparation.
Yes.
Even though they're not a race, but a religion. But they are still
The Native Indians as well.
getting their reparations. Even the state of Israel that wasn't even there during the time of the Holocaust is still getting reparations there. We haven't get that yet. We haven't even get an apology.
People, I would have totally understood if this, even a little bit, I would understand if they're coming strictly from the United States, you know, where it's a minority black population in a sea of white people. Sure. But if you're from the Caribbean, majority black countries, that's where your root is from. Come on now. Come on. What are you doing? But let's continue.
So how could I come to Africa and our own African brothers and sisters that should know what went on and now feeling this sort of hatred coming from them? It's an absolute insult to our ancestors that bones is there lying in the Atlantic Ocean. Some of us that die for self-determination. You're talking about Nat Turner. You're talking about Kunta Kinte.
Again, did you guys hear? He talked, both of them talked about all this slavery talk, but they could not name slaves that they are related to or slaves from their region. American people who are enslaved in America, not Turner, Kunta Kinte. It's always trying to hijack Black Americans' history. When I said it the last time in a video, people were like, oh, it's all the same. No, 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 no. If Kunta Kinte, quote unquote, wasn't enslaved in the Caribbean, or Nat Turner wasn't enslaved there, they didn't have no connection there, no children, how are they related to them? What, they don't have slaves in Montserrat he could name, or Jamaica? But instead, you guys notice everything is just made up. He learned about this, you know, him being African from, like he said, from listening to Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and all that. Now to give us a concrete evidence about how they are so much hurt by this slavery, you're naming us people who are enslaved in America because they want to connect themselves to this story so bad, and it's falling apart. There's no need to do all this. Seriously, no need to do all this. It's ridiculous.
This is who they are disrespecting, their own ancestors. So where do that arrogance come from?
Sir, if someone in Africa who was born and raised there, they have their lineage all intact, somebody else is taken into slavery, that's not their ancestor. They are not related. No connection. What do you mean they're, you know, people like saying all this, oh, your ancestor. If you are not from the loins of those people, how are they your ancestor? Just because they are Black? Come on, man. Are you telling me if a Fanti was taken as a slave from Ghana to the Western world, that person is my ancestor too, and I'm not even from there? No relation? But this is what they sell to you. People, you know, open your mind. Open your mind.
I personally don't know. But regardless of what, we have a right to come back and connect to our roots. And the reason why we're appealing to the governments of Africa to open up their doors, right? Africa in itself have a moral duty to us that was taken away.
Africa has a moral duty to them. Let's continue.
Against our will. So Africans have the moral duty to open back up to the children, the sons and daughters that was taken, because very little has been done from since the time of the transatlantic slave trade. The continentals have done very little in trying to get us back home. So now we're making it back home on our own. The most we're asking for is for them to cooperate with us and help us through the process and help desensitize the people. Because what we're seeing here now, I'm not saying everyone, because there's a large amount of people that support us to coming back.
Yes.
You know, a large, many Gambians support us coming back, but you have a few. You know, you have a few. And some is able in certain position of power. And they shouldn't be speaking like this.
So everybody should be happy and say, yeah, we are down with it. But the people who disagree, those are haters. Those people are not following their obligation. That's how these people think. But let's continue.
So that's why we are appealing to the government of Africa, right? Just
You are in Gambia. There's no such thing as the government of Africa. Come on now.
to remind them that they have a moral duty of care for us that was taken and lost our culture, lost our identity, and lost everything. And now we're trying to find our way back home. We shouldn't have this obstacle.
So let me get this straight. So if you do a DNA test, you're like, oh, I'm an African, and your DNA test said 4% from the region Gambia, 6% Nigerian, 40% Ghana, 80% Liberian, whatsoever, right? Okay. Then what country do you belong to? You do not belong to any of these countries. You are a mix of all these places according to you. So how do you just narrow it down and say, I'm a Gambian, but you're telling me you're mixed with all these things? That's not how things work in Africa. But now you want to uphold the white man's document to me, the same white man you said I shouldn't trust. By the way, I got my DNA test, 40% Blackfoot Indian. 40% Blackfoot Indian. Okay, continuing. So they have all these mixtures, but somehow you want to come to some country. I have seen some who say they jump from country to country to collect citizenship from all these countries. This is madness, people. This is it's like a cartoon movie that I'm watching. This is not how things work. It's crazy.
We shouldn't be faced with laws that telling us you have to wait 15 years for your citizenship, the same as a colonizer. And sometimes the colonizer married to the local and get their citizenship quicker. Exactly. We can't do that, we're already married. So we, no matter what, we have to wait for 15 years. And this is why we're challenging that part.
You notice, guys. So the Constitution said 15 years. They said they're not going down for that. They are going to challenge that. But then watch, they're going to say they are not being political. You're challenging a country's constitution. You're challenging a country's constitution, but you're saying that is not political. That's crazy.
Not only that, I think the way in which they're disrespecting their leader is not good either. No. Because it goes around the world, and this disrespect is another component of the larger disrespect that we put out to the world about ourselves. And we as Black people need to have race solidarity, race unity, race priority, and we need to have race pride. And we need to do this because social media now allows anybody in the world to watch you. And so when you say the most heinous things and bad things about your leader, well, other countries, what they do is they do it in private, not in public.
Now she's going to be lecturing them about what how they should talk about, corrupt African leaders.
And we need to practice the same thing. In England, there used to be a saying, you praise loud, you criticize quietly. And so it's something that also needs to be exercised, because the way in which I've seen some people describe the president, His Excellency Adam Barrow, and then having met him myself, is a complete opposite of what I was told. He's a very intelligent man, like I said. He's a very humble man, and he's very astute. And if people want to underestimate him, that's entirely up to them.
She's kissing the ass of the president that she met. Now, let's hear more. But she's not being political, right?
But I will stand by what I said. I know the kind of person I met. I've traveled to 28, 29 countries, and I've met thousands of people, both in my work and both through working in the media also. and I'm a good judge of character, and I'm fully aware of the kind of person that I met, even though I hadn't met him before or for an awful long time. Well, I haven't seen him before for a long time. So I think that it's important that we learn to respect ourselves, especially in the media. As Black people, we are all responsible for our perception in other nations and to other nations. And as Black people, we must be upstanding and righteous.
Yeah, but that's true. I don't think that,
very interesting listening to you both. You are real nyanchos. And my name is Musa Jeng. I'm right here in Atlanta, the opposite of you. You're heading back home. Thousands of us are running away from the Gambia. Some are driven to become economic migrants. Others are driven to better our families and to create hope. You guys have said a lot. I don't know where to start, but gleaning from your responses, again, I have to be honest, I'm not sure the kind of back and forth you guys had on social media, but listening to some of the things that you guys are saying, I understand advocating to become citizens, that Black people from the diaspora should be given an opportunity, whether it's in Ghana or in Senegal or any other place for that matter. They should be considered to become citizens. That is a laudable thing to fight for. But I want to push back a little bit about some of the pronouncements that you guys are making. And that has a lot to do with injecting yourself into the internal politics, taking side. Now, I'm just asking you, yes, it is your right to take sides, but don't you think you should be a little bit more careful? Because I've heard you said a lot about Adama Barrow. He's intelligent, he's this, he's that, which is okay. But do you think injecting yourself into the internal politics, it's the way to go in your advocacy? Do you think?
Good question, right? Watch how Juliet is about to fall off the wheel and her sidekick is going to try to step in. Watch.
Can I just say, I was asked a question. You asked me a question, I'm answering it. By answering your question, am I injecting myself into politics? If someone asked me, now you've met the president, what is your personal view of him? I answered it. That's not injecting myself into anything. If someone asked me, what was it like when you met Lawyer Darbo, I would have answered the same.
Guys, you see, when you put the mirror in front of the person, they start seeing the truth, you're going to see them fall apart and start getting defensive and argumentative. Like I said, the guy set up the question for them. They just kept blabbing. All you could hear is, I'm Gambian, this African, and kept injecting themselves into Gambian politics. That's what we've all heard. Just simply trying to change the constitution. That's injecting yourself in the politics. And the guy from Atlanta asked him the question. It's about to get nice.
No one's asked me. No one's asked me. So if you asked me that, I would answer. It's not about being partisan or injecting myself in politics. We had 28 National Assembly members come to our...
Julius, can I come in there?
No.
Hello, Julius.
You guys see, this weasel is about to run interference. So I cut out the part from the beginning where, this political talk show, they've been trying to get this man here, who's a National Assembly member, mind you, supposed to be representing Gambians. They have been trying to get him to come on the show. He was nowhere to be found. He wouldn't come to the show. But when they brought Blaxit here, they didn't even supposedly invite him. Blaxit also sent, the link to this man and this guy here and asked, oh, can they come? The guys are like, yeah, sure, come on through. So who is this man working for? Who is he representing? If he is not going to go to a Gambian political show, the only way he ended up coming there is when Juliet brought him. He would go on Juliet's YouTube channel. No problem. Gambian people, I hope you're paying attention. I hope you're seeing the type of idiots and sellouts you're giving power to. This man is supposed to be a member of parliament. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? But don't worry, they'll expose him. They'll expose him here for who he truly is. You guys know, if you're Gambian, you know Gambian people like to take it slowly. They would walk you to where they need to get you to.
Yeah, one step. And those 20 members came from of all parties. But go ahead, Honourable Second Maron.
Well, I think for that saying that you are Juliet and Adrian are getting into Gambian politics, I will say no big no to that, because they are working with us, they are working with me, they are also working with some member of parliament. Those that I didn't belong to the same political party with. Mm-hmm. Some are in UDP, some are in other political parties, some are in NRP, some are in other political parties. He talks about one.
The funny thing is, where Blaxit completely failed in their endeavor, right? They said they are a Pan-Africanist. But now, this man here, this member of parliament, these people are all puzzled to see that he's the one connected with the Pan-Africanists when they know this man cares nothing about Pan-Africanism. He knows nothing about Pan-Africanism. So they are thinking, okay, why is this man connected with these people here? So I hope you guys are seeing what is happening here. You guys might not know Gambians, but Gambians know each other. So her entire game here is falling apart because the people she's surrounding herself with, they said they're pushing Pan-Africanism. Since when did Marong here start caring about Pan-Africanism? Something he knows nothing about. What, he's going to go to his constituencies, to the village, whatever, and tell them about Pan-Africanism? You think that's what he's going to be doing? Hell no. Who is he going to be selling this to? I don't have the proof, but he has to be on her payroll. He has to be, because she has no problem being able to bring him on her YouTube channel, even to carry him with her to another show, Gambian political show, to run interference for her. But let's carry on.
He talked about Doi. He talked about Halifa Sallah, didn't he? He did. Mm. You asked him about Adama Barrow. That's why he was just answering based on what you asked him. I think that is
my thing is, like I said, I have to be honest. I have not even heard the pronouncements that she made. I did not. Okay. But just gleaning from what she has been saying. Because one thing that we have to be mindful, on the 22 years of Yahya Jammeh, a dictator, he has used people like Kujabi, people that want to come back home and become citizens. He has used them while basically killing and sending Gambians. I'm sending us to, in other words,
into exile. That's the word, sir. Say it, exile and turmoil. So when these people are talking about Pan-Africanism, he is laying it out in front of her. So when you people come to Africa talking about Pan-Africanism to Africans, you're aligning yourself with people, and we're seeing it. We're like, what the hell? What the hell? This guy is Pan-Africanist. He kills Gambian people. What are you talking about? But people like to hear what they want to hear. This Marong here, he's a disgrace. He's a complete disgrace.
Havoc that we went through for the past 22 years. So what I'm saying is, sometimes it can be very convenient for African dictators oppressing their people, misappropriating our funds, mismanaging the economy. And I'm not saying that's what Adama Barrow is doing. And at the same time, appeasing to the issues like Pan-Africanism and we are all Africans. That's basically the motivation for my question.
You're in America where Donald Trump was there, one of the most racist presidents.
She's saying Donald Trump is one of the most racist president. Ma'am, you don't live in America. You didn't live in America. Like, how can you make such pronouncement? Again, she's speaking from a place of ignorance once again.
I mean, other than the other previous presidents, you're living in a land where Donald Trump, right, who has to be one of the most racist presidents in the whole of the century, you are there where he is. And if you, hang on a sec, if you said while he was in power that he was racist, I don't think you'll be launching yourself into racism. All you'll be doing is making an observation. All I did was make an observation and put my observation as I was asked. I'm not injecting myself into any politics about Yahya Jammeh or about anybody else.
Can I come?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Brother, if you've been following Blaxit for a long time, you could see one of the honorables that we had on our channel was Honorable Halifa Salah. He's a party leader. And we always say positive things and uplifting things about Halifa Salah. Halifa Salah is the first to give us support. I said to us, even welcoming is an insult. It's your birthright. Listen, we put our appeal into city president since 2019. It's not our fault that they give us this audience now they're in the political year. We've been waiting for 2 years. 2016. And there's nowhere, for seeing Adama Barrow. We've been waiting 2 years for seeing him. And now we get the opportunity to see him. It's unfortunate it's now in the year where they have in politics. You understand? So let's look at things differently.
You guys remember in the audio that I played, they were pretending that they had to go through background checks and all that. Because talking about US Secret Service came talking to her, because you know these are the type of talk black people in the West like to hear. So she caters to that. But like I said, when you come face to face with people who don't buy into that, you want to use the black card and all that, it falls on deaf ear, because people are like, okay, you can say all this, but what about this? Common sense is what matters. All this black talk she's doing doesn't matter to these people here. What matters is, what is the Gambian law? Who is a Gambian? That's what matters. She's aligning herself with a corrupt politician here, and these guys can see this. But she thinks she's onto something. Name dropping. Thanks, Juliet. Tell on all the politicians you're aligned with. You think you're promoting them? Name drop them so we know who they are.
Well, we have waited a long time, and now we got that audience. We take it, and we said very good things about every other party leader. We have met every other party leader, and if you see, we always with Honorable Solomon Seho. He is UDP, right? And if you look, we also work with Honorable Maddy. He's UDP. You understand? We work everywhere. We're not here to deal with politics. And as
so they are not there for politics. But guess who they are going around meeting? All these names they've dropped, guess what? They're all politicians, but they are not in politics. Let's keep going.
So the history of the former president, we never debate on it. It's absolutely nothing that we will touch on. It's for Gambians to deal with that. We're trying to deal with our situation for citizenship so we could go out and work in the wider community. I personally don't have no interest in politics. I think I only voted once in my life.
Anyway.
And we can't even vote anyway. But we are.
Did Adrian just snitch on himself? Did she just snitch on them? Because she quickly said, oh no, we can even vote. Let's keep going.
Always work with MPs across all parties. It doesn't matter who. We don't just work with MPs from Adamo Barrow's party. From Adamo Barrow. So let's get that straight. Honorable Majanko itself is from other party. We work with him.
Oh yeah, Majanko. Sure, these guys are super duper, Pan-Africanists. Please keep name dropping all the Pan-Africanists. Are you serious right now? This is a fraud. Seriously. Majanko, these are the Pan-Africanists you're meeting? Let's keep going.
So we're not here on a political agenda. Because it takes so long to give us an audience with the president. I think you're missing that.
I know, Cass, this is what they do, especially Adrian. The moment they get caught in a jam, they start raising their voice, just, bending out of character. Watch, it's gonna get worse.
Since 2019, we wanted to have that audience, and it so happened that we got it now. And nobody sympathized with us for see how long it takes for us to come to get our case across. And now we've been linked into politics. We're not interested in politics.
Absolutely. But let me say this though. You should be equally interested.
Her interruptions have begun. It's gonna get worse.
To ask you a quick question. Do you watch our channel, Blaxit?
No, I don't really. Actually, I just text Banker.
Why? Okay.
I just text Banker, basically telling him that I'm sidetracked. I don't really know much about them. So I'm just kind of.
So let me do a quick intro because this is why you said what you said. If you've been watching, we've made over 300.
The manipulation.
100 videos, and in those videos we've interviewed the likes of everybody from SFL, across parties, different people, different contexts, no bias. Okay, I tell it as I see it. Some people I am more attached to because of what they stand for, because of who they are, and because of their actions. Yeah. There are other people. I've been to Sierra Leone. I did the same thing. At the end of the day, it's never been political. I'm a Pan-Africanist, and I will always be a Pan-Africanist. So if that's what you want to call political, being Pan-Africanist, I'll always stand by that, and I'll die by it. Because to me, I'm into unity in the community, which is one Africa, which is all of us as Africans standing for the betterment of our nations, of our people.
She's about unity, but she's the one requesting things from the people, quote unquote, she's helping. You're not political, but all your affiliations are politicians, and you are asking for them to change the law for you, trying to corrupt the system. But let's continue.
And of our environment, we have a responsibility, and that is what is important to me. I'm not interested in individual parties and politics, and I don't inject myself into it. But if you ask me a question, when I'm interviewed on West Coast Radio or wherever, and you ask me, what was your opinion of the person that you met, I will be honest about my opinion of the person, and that is it. So if anyone wants to take it because they don't like him or they whatever, that's their problem. I can only call it as I see it. And that is it. No one paid me to do it. No one asked me to do it. And I've done so many interviews, not just here, but also in the UK. In the UK, I also did a stint working for Sky, also did a stint working for the BBC. When I interviewed Jack Straw, you know, for BBC Radio 5 Live.
Deflection, deflection, deflection. Traits of a fraudster and a criminal. Because when people cannot answer questions straight, you try to ask questions, they just try to cut you off to deflect. That is a problem.
No one came and asked me about my opinion. And this is it. And this is why I say we as Black people, we need to change the narrative. We need to address ourselves and ask ourselves one big question. Yeah. And that big question is, why am I even thinking this?
She goes back to the Black thing. Okay. Juliet, why don't you tell us why you are thinking this? Thinking you can go to Africa, an African country. Why are you thinking to change their constitution to fit you? Why? This is the question we should be asking. But you want to ask people about why they are questioning the things they are questioning. So that means they are not Black, right? This is ridiculous.
Thinking what?
Whatever you say that's going to tear us all together or apart. Yeah? Why am I thinking this? Why am I even thinking that there's a political agenda without even doing my research and finding out first? You know, for me, I want to do my research on you. I'm going to check out who you are before I make any assumptions, because I don't know anything about you. So I can't say, well, I like you, I don't like you. I can't say anything about you.
But just to put in here, yeah, we also have met with the Honorable Lawyer Dabo. Yes, and we see him as a great leader as well. He was respectful when he met with us. You understand? And he's intelligent as well, you know, and everything. That's what I'm saying.
But no one ever asked us our
opinion. No one ever asked us if we have met any other party leader. But people jump to the conclusion. And this is exactly what we see happening here now in Africa. People forget the history and they start talking from just a point without doing any background.
What is the history, my friend? What is the history? This man doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Both of them don't know. This is ridiculous.
Research. Had any background research was done on us, you would have seen that we work with every single party here.
And every ethnicity. Whether you're Jota, whether you're Fuller, whether you're Mandinka, whether you're Wolof, whether you're Sarahiro, whether, you know, it doesn't matter. As long as
she's trying to act Gambian so bad. She just butchered the way the name of my tribe is pronounced. What a silly woman.
That, like you said, right? No matter where you come from, as long as you're a Black man, you're an African.
I hear you loud and clear. And I respect everything that you guys have said. And the idea that, I think it was the gentleman who mentioned that he's not even political. He's as political as I can see.
Good for you, brother, for pointing it out.
The reason why I asked that question, even among so-called Gambians, when we, and I'm sure you're aware, as we're getting through this registration, there is a lot of accusation and counter-accusation who is a Gambian and who is not. So you shouldn't feel bad if people come to you and say, hey, get out of our politics because you are not even Gambians. We're doing that to ourselves. All I'm saying is, anytime a question is asked based on your advocacy in regards to whether it's Lawyer Dabo, whether it's Halifa Sallah, I am thinking, politically speaking, I would give a general overview about our agenda and I would stick to that. instead of getting into some of the pronouncements you made, like, well, people are underestimating this guy, he's a very intelligent. In other words, you are getting lured into the internal politics of it. Do you think that is...
This is where you're wrong. This is where you're...
She's not going to allow him to speak. You guys know this, right? The entire time they were there spewing their Pan-Africanist mumbo jumbo, and these guys were just sitting there listening. But she is not going to allow him to get a word in. Classic.
Totally wrong. If someone asks me about you after this interview, yeah, I will tell them what I feel about you. It's got nothing to do with politics. And that's where you're all getting it so wrong. I'm entitled to my opinion on any person that I meet. And it's not for anyone to tell me, let me land age, right? It's not for anybody, nobody here or in the UK or in the USA or anywhere to tell me what I can and cannot say. That is the same dictatorial control that everyone was complaining about.
The true devil is coming out.
That is now being lauded towards me now. Is that right? Where is freedom of speech? Where is freedom of expression? How dare you tell me I'm political? I don't have a political party. I met Banky. At West Coast Radio. No one didn't ask me what my view of him was. What I'm trying to say is that straight, it doesn't matter who I meet on the street, who I meet in the village. If I have an opinion of them and I'm asked, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to stick to any kind of script because I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm not going to do it. And I'll tell you why.
Ma'am, just because you call yourself a Pan-Africanist, you're going to get yourself hurt by injecting yourself in that country's politics. This guy is trying to let you know how things really are in that country, how people think. You need to listen. All this BS about, where's freedom of speech? The freedom of speech, you left it in the UK. Now you are in a completely different territory. All this Pan-Africanist talk, this is some internet bullshit. Now you're walking into a completely different territory. I don't think she is getting what this man is trying to say. She thinks by cutting him off, that's going to change the truth. She is ridiculous.
Because I'm a mother, right? And I am an African woman. And I have every right to express myself as an African woman.
I want to learn. Let me learn something. You live in America.
Yes, sir.
You live in America, right?
Yes,
Who
sir.
is your president? Who is your president?
My president, but I forgot his name. What's his name again?
Joseph Ibrahim.
Joe Biden.
Joseph Biden, yes.
Joe Biden. Yes, we live in Gambia. Who is our president? We live in Gambia. Who is our president?
President Barrow. He's my president as well.
Can I just say something here?
Like, I think.
Yeah, what I want to just so that we can just move a little bit. Sorry for cutting you off. My name is Pasamba Jau Coach, and I am of the view that this whole hoopla about your opinion about Adama Barrow is nothing but that. I live in the United States. I do not have a right to vote. I'm not a United States citizen, and every day I have an opinion of the American leaders. So that is neither here nor there. What I wanted to get to is the issue that you are fighting about. That is automatic citizenship. Am I right? Is that the issue? Yes or no? You automatic. Okay. And you've mentioned here that you've been working with a lot of lawmakers from across the political aisle. Have they informed you of our laws in the Gambia? Because as we speak, according to this constitution, this Gambian constitution, the 1997 constitution, there are people who were born in the country, Africans as you are, who are not citizens
People, I want you to hear this part clearly. You would find out this westernized, quote unquote, Pan-Africanists, these are the most selfish, narcissistic, wicked people. They think the world revolves around them. I used to, feel for them and stuff. But the moment they talk about all this old slavery thing, tell them to piss off. When did you ever become slave? What plantation were you from? Get out of my face with that type of talk. That victimhood mentality. This man is about to lay it out for her, but watch her response. These people are ridiculous human beings.
Of the Gambia, because their parents were not from the Gambia. So our constitution does not give automatic citizenship to anybody. There are processes that are in place. So I would have loved for the National Assembly member, Mr. Marong, to still be here, because it is one thing for these National Assembly members to be giving you all these thumbs up, you're doing great, you're doing that, but it is an other if they are not working towards changing the laws to make it at least right for people, because I think it is really a very, I don't see it happening, because the president by itself cannot make that declaration. It is a lawful thing, it is a constitutional matter, and unless the laws are changed, this struggle that you guys are waging will have to continue.
Okay, so are you aware of the draft report? The draft constitutional report that came out?
The draft constitution
in March 2020.
The draft that was rejected by Mr. Marong, the MP that was left, and others?
Guys, listen to this conversation closely. See, when you're faced with reality, you start being dumb. Do you not see this guy with his glasses? He's a nerd. He even pulled out the Constitution. You think he would know about the draft Constitution? That's all these people talk about. But he pointed to her that the type of Constitution, the law that she wanted, the same guy, that politician that she thinks is on her side, he is one of the people that voted against it. He's one of the people that voted against it. But Juliet, since you're so smart, how come you didn't know that? Maybe you should go check and see who voted against the draft, which would have favored you. But watch how she comes at this. She's going to use her Pan-Africanist talk again.
Yes.
Okay, so in that report, there were recommendations made. One of the recommendations, obviously, that we are looking at, because we're looking at our situation, which is section 188. There was another section, which I can't recall the number because obviously it doesn't purport to me, that was also making recommendation for those people who are born in the Gambia to receive automatic citizenship. So that was also in there, and that was something that was negotiated or discussed as the same way that we made our representations at the CRC, which was the Constitutional Review Commission. We made 81 submissions. And
did you guys hear that? But they just made this big deal arguing, saying they are not political. What are you doing meddling in a country's constitutional amendment, but you're not political? Are you serious? She better be glad most Gambians don't watch her show online that are there who are like super political. They're probably not aware of her. If those people are aware that you're doing this, it's not gonna go well. Seriously, they don't play about that type of stuff. People that are even born there, you have Nigerians there, with their family, they are born, they have children. Those children are considered Nigerians. They cannot get Gambian citizenship. Sierra Leoneans, Senegalese, next door. Like, what are you talking about? Why do you think Gambia's population is just about 2 million? There's a reason why they maintain it that way.
Other people made their submissions. At the end of the day, I got to look to this. The colonial laws that were created in Gambia.
Here we go with the colonial laws. Mind you, in 1997, that same law that she's talking about, the Gambian people voted for because they like it. It is what they want. But these are not colonial laws. These were enacted in 1997. Gambia wasn't under colonial rule. Hasn't been many, many years before that. So what is she talking about?
Gambia and left in Gambia, right? From 1962, 1965, reviewed 1980, reviewed again 1994, 1997, right? To date, reviewed again 2020, 2018, 2020, right? These are paradigms for change and opportunities for change. Paul Kagame in Rwanda, what did he do? He repealed many colonial laws. You have the opportunity here to repeal many colonial laws.
Ma'am, don't you think majority or most of those colonial laws were repealed? What do you think those votings were for? The referendum. Colonial laws were against the citizens. Why would they vote for laws that are against them? Who does this woman think she's lecturing to? So, Gambians, I hope you're watching this, and other Africans. These people are worse than the white colonialists. They would come and lecture you and tell you, your law is not even your law. So you want to talk to me, to Gambians, about Paul Kagame in Rwanda. That is not Rwanda. Then move to Rwanda, if that so fits you. But you guys see, she's trying to lecture a group of people who are way more educated than her in this subject. But she wants to lecture to them, you know, what they should be thinking and how they should think, and completely just disregard what the current constitution of that country is. Think about that for a minute, people. So when these people are opening their mouth, Gambians and other Africans, you need to understand, look, don't fall for this black talk, blah, blah, blah. These are disrespectful, narcissistic human beings. They have no regard for your laws. They have zero regard for the laws of that country. Zero, nada. They could care less about what your law says. And you're seeing that displayed here right in front of you. Talking about colonial law, my foot, my black foot. Colonial law? Really? A law that the Gambian people voted for in 1997, when this country was completely out of colonial rule. But now you're telling Gambian people, no, 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 this is still colonial law. Who the hell do you think you are? But let's continue with her BS.
There is nothing written. Slavery used to be legal. Slavery was legal. That's why you had the abolition of slavery in 1833, 1st of August, by parliamentary order. At the end of the day, there's nothing set in stone.
It always goes back to slavery. Always goes back to slavery. Look, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Hey, if you're caught in, if you want to stay in the past and believe that you're still in the slave mode, that's on you. But the rest of us gotta move on. We don't want to be there with you because we've never been slaves. We don't know what that's like. No disrespect to anyone that's a slave or ever been a slave, but don't tell me to think or feel like you if I've never ever, experience that. That's not my experience. That's not my history. Don't try to force me to think like you. But that's what exactly they are doing here. This is shameful.
Cannot be changed. And we ask those people who want that change to appeal in the same way that we are asking it to appeal. It's not them or us, it's we that need to make change. It's lawmakers that have to make.
Ma'am, you are not a citizen of that country. You keep saying we. You do not have the right. Did you guys hear they argue that they are not political? But they are clearly political. Because when you say we have to change it, you're being political. How do you go to a country and demand things, demand changes in their laws? That is being political. I don't care how you try to slice it, it is political.
Change. That's what their job is.
All right.
And at the end of the day, colonial laws are there for the colonial laws weren't there and set in stone to keep us together. They were there to divide us and to make sure that they could maintain colonial rule. And that is not just here, it's across Africa. That is why the AU put out their 2063 initiative, which I appreciate. And that is for there to be borderless, for us to see ourselves as Africans. And that's very important.
Tunaja is saying, if the law is unfair. So Tunaja, you think a law that Gambian people voted for themselves, for the Gambian people, of complete foreigner comes in and thinks that law is not fair, they should change it? Dude, you're a sad case, man, for real. I don't know why I'm even addressing you. Are you serious right now? Come on, man. Stop being a loser like that. I mean, I get it. Sometimes some things you say feels like a joke. But dude, you are definitely pathetic for this. Are you serious right now? So you want to respect just two group of people, but disrespect an entire country? Is that what you call Pan-Africanism? You respect these people so much, but you disrespect an entire country's will. Please check yourself, man.
And that's the reason why they put out the executive order for the 6th region as well. And this is important because we need to unite as Africans together, because we need to unite economically. We need the free trade agreement for us to work and trade together. This is more important than just people being born somewhere. This is about Africa uniting.
So now it's about Africa uniting. This is going to get better.
And that's what I'm saying. We're looking at it as a very small micro basis, but this is a macro problem. I mean, Osman Toure is here, and he studied in this area. I think he'll be a good person to maybe comment on this.
Meaning he has been indoctrinated in this area. Let's hear this fool, because just because you can spot out the things you read, watch how this young man makes a fool of himself. He really thinks he's onto something. He's gonna sound good, but he's an idiot. Seriously, he's a total idiot who is being used to further an agenda that he has no clue about.
Well, yeah, Mr. Toure can comment. But what I was trying to say, sister, is some of us, the draft constitution that you talked about, the report, this is why I said it would have been very important for Mr. Marong, the National Assembly member, who formed part of the group that rejected the draft constitution, was here. That way, at least he could have explained, because he never. Say that again.
No, I didn't say the draft. I said the report.
No, that's what I'm. That's no. I understand. I understand what.
Constitution we were asking for, and they did not embody what we asked for, brother. They did not embody sexual.
See, this woman thinks she can argue her way to change reality. So now she's hot. She's not allowing them to speak about what the truth is. Like, she's so silly. Like, ma'am, you can argue till the cows come home. This is what is written. The man is trying to tell you, your friend, that politician, your friend that you're with, he's playing you. He's one of the people that voted against what would have, in fact, helped your case. That's what this man is trying to tell you. But you notice all of a sudden the politician, his network have a problem, right? The man is trying to tell you what you need to know. That your friend, that politician, voted against the draft that would have favored you for their own interest, for their party's interest. But she's not getting it. Too much into herself.
In the draft constitution.
Sister,
what we asked for was rejected, was not involved in it.
What I'm saying here is and this is not like a debate between you and I. All I'm saying here is Mr. Marong, Majanko Samusa, and all the lawmakers that you mentioned here that you've been working with had a unique opportunity,
right,
as the only authority to have looked at that draft and changed anything that was in it, even the recommendations that were made by the CRC. If they did not agree with it, they had the sole power to change it. But they did not for political expediency. So all I'm saying here is, maybe we may be on the other same side and you may not know it. All I'm saying here is, unless these politicians start doing their job, and instead of just using all these flowery languages to make people happy, we're not going to move anywhere. And what is happening, you will meet with anybody, they will tell you the nicest things in the world. But the situation here is, they have the powers to make the changes. They will not. When they wanted to change Section 91D of the Constitution, they did, without anybody's urging. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a little over 2 hours. I will have to come back for part 2 because I have an appointment to get to. But we'll have to save it here and do part 2 of this, because I know most of you are really enjoying it, but it gets better. It gets better. But this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Having total disregard for a constitution of a country. You guys heard it. All the people, okay, that she mentioned, the politicians that she mentioned, guess what? This is why those guys, when she's talking, they were just like, Ma'am, those are the people that voted against it. I don't know if they understand that. Those people voted against that. I don't think they get it. So this man here, he's on the same side with you. But you see, the reason why that politician left and the names that she's mentioning, there's a part of the draft of the Constitution, which in fact they sent people from the Gambia to come here, all the way, in my state here too, New York, everywhere, to speak with Gambians on what they think. I was at the constitutional meeting So one of the fight was because for me, I cannot vote in the Gambia because I'm a US citizen, dual citizenship. Other Gambians cannot vote either. So they want to change that part, or maybe run for office. They want to change that so we can run for office and all that. Do you think these politicians are going to vote that in? Because that would allow also people like Juliet to be able to be citizen. So this man that she's hanging out with, these politicians she's talking to, they are going to tell her what she wants to hear. Do you guys honestly believe those guys would want to be in competition with somebody like me running for office? They're not going to do that. It's not going to help them. It's not going to help them. So she's not even seeing the board. The man just laid the board out for her that your friend, your little friends that you just mentioned, voted against what would have helped you. But she wants to talk about things that are so irrelevant. Emotions, narcissism, all that. She's not able to see the real picture. But I will be back to do the second half. Movement, I'm actually, maybe my appointment is going to be about 2 hours. So let's say estimated in 3 hours time, I would come back because I have to, calculate, driving time in it. I don't know what the traffic would look like, but I'll be sure to come back and finish this. Even if I don't finish it, in 3 hours time, at least by, at least 4 hours time, I'll be back. Or it could be before then. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will have to let you guys go, and I'll see you again.